Welcome back to my channel. If you have not like and subscribe the channel, please like and subscribe the channel. This is the place where you can learn Microsoft Intune. In this video I am going to share you what is the difference between Microsoft Intune MDM and Microsoft Intune MAM, which is Intune MAM app person policy. As you know, we have already made video in details how you can create the policy for MDM and what is the benefit of using MAM as well, with enrollment and without enrollment. But you can see on my screen, right, this is the difference, the major difference here, that if you have a company owned devices, right, you want to manage through, you want to take control of fully managed devices, then you should implement or manage those devices through MDM policy. And you just and while in the MAM app person policy, if you just want to manage or protect the data for the applications, right, for the managed applications, that the devices will unmanaged devices will not be enrolled into Intune, but you can protect the data on at the app level. Devices can also be enrolled, so MAM can be used with enrollment or without enrollment. In both the scenario, it's depend on the choice, but MAM is particularly being used or majorly being used for the BYD case. But if some company wants to secure their corporate data on even MDM or fully managed devices, which is fully enrolled devices, then we can also use MDM plus MAM. So if you use this MDM policy, you can apply the policies config or any configuration at the entire device level, because we'll be controlling the entire devices. We'll also collect the device inventory, because the device is fully managed. We can see all informations from the devices. We can perform the device wipe, which is actually will reset the devices to the factory reset, and all the data will get deleted. We can have a full control on application push pull, right, and we can also push or pull the device configurations like certificates, VPN, Wi-Fi, and other things. And while in the case of MAM, right, whether you have a let's first talk about the with enrollment or without enrollment. So with enrollment, right, you can do all these things, right, through MDM device policy, device wipe. On top of it, you can also apply the app policy like MAM app person policy, like conditional level app access, data transfer, data production, DLP you can apply. I've already made video on detail how to create the MAM app person policy with enrollment and without enrollment, so you can go and always watch. I will put this as well on the video. And you can also perform app selective wipe, right, like if you want to just wipe the data from the Outlook application, it will only remove the data from the Outlook application instead of removing the entire device management profile from the device. You can also push some app config and just app service. But this MAM will only work if the application is running with Intune SDK, or the application has been wrapped using Intune app wrapping, right, then MAM policy will apply. The MAM application policy will not support if any application is not running, if any apps are running on non SDK or app has not wrapped with Intune wrap tool. Now maybe wondering, what is the first step, right, being as a Intune admin, what do you have to do? I have already made video in detail how to set up the Intune tenant, but at the high level you can see here, first you have to set the MDM authority, right. By default I will show you where you can check. If you go, this is Microsoft Intune portal, and you see here MDM authority. By default it sets to Microsoft Intune, right? So first you have to set, being as a intra admin, global admin, you have to set the MDM authority, so it should show as a Microsoft Intune. Second is, you have to enable the device automatic enrollment, right? So make sure the automatic device enrollment is enabled, and you have created a groups, intra groups or AD groups for MAM with enrollment, and if you have a dev or test prod environment, or for iOS and Android, right, to manage, so that it will be easy for you to assign policy in apps and config to those targeted devices. And then third steps to, you can enroll the device platform restrictions, whether you want to allow only iOS, then just you go, and if you go to here devices and enrollment, you can apply the enrollment restrictions, right? You see enrollment platform restrictions. So like if you want to allow by default, you just want to allow Android, iOS, you don't want to allow Mac, so you can do that by clicking all properties, and you can allow on block whatever is currently it's allow, right, because it's applied to all users, all platform. And so similarly you can do it. the, the fourth is device limit, how many devices you want to enroll. Like you want to limit the devices, suppose standard users can enroll up to 5 devices, 10 devices, 15, maximum 15 devices, and certain users you want to enroll 1 or 2 devices. It depend on the, you can similar you can apply, go to here and you can say how many devices are enrolled. So here currently 5 devices, you can modify or create restrictions. I have already made video, you can go. And fifth is conditional access policy. This is most powerful and uh, policy in entire, I can see in Entra. Make sure the conditional access policy has been enabled, and you must be intra admin global or conditional access roles to access and view. Make sure multi-factor authentication is enabled. App person policies for O365, it should be applied. So where you can check, you have to go to here and go to the conditional access, and under the policy you must be global admin, then you can create a policy. And this is the most tricky and powerful conditional access which will impact your users. So be sure while creating this policy, but this is requirement to protect your company data or resources from any unauthorized access. 6 is enrollment profile. Make sure you create a appropriate MDM profile, right, whether it's Android BUID or iOS BUID or company owned. You can create profiles here by going to devices, and if it's iOS you can create a configurations profile here, or you can create a compliance policy, right? Why I am showing here, because this is the overall how as being as a new or as a fresher, if you want to learn what are the things you have to do and keep in mind while set up the Microsoft Intune tenant for any customers, right? Compliance policy, as I always say, how to create difference, understand the difference requirement for MDM and MAM, and based on that you can apply. Configuration policy, it's not because of MAM only MDM devices, right? Configuration you can apply only for MDM, not for MAM, right? Because the MAM is unmanaged. Or if it's MDM managed, then you can apply. App protection policy, protection of company data within the application. So if you go here and if you click on protection, you can create this protection policy for iOS and Android, so that your data will be protected within the application. App configurations policy, right, if you want to push some certain configuration or uses for, then you have to go to the configurations and then create the config for managed devices. If it's MDM managed, if it's applications, you directly unmanaged devices, you can directly put, and you can put some of the config, and you can target application here, or you can select some public application or specific application and push the app config here. So these are the main key important thing. So these are the main 13-14 points you have to keep in mind. Other than, there are certain things like APNS, Google setup, right? So you have to go and check all these. You have to integrate with the Google Play. You have to integrate with APNS. Those are requirements are there. You have to configure it. I have already made video in details, everything, how to set up the Microsoft Intune tenant. If you go to my channel and if you search setup Intune, how to set up Intune tenant, right? How to set up Android device enrollment, how to set up the Microsoft Intune tenant. These are the I published in long back 2022 and 2023. The video number is 98, and if you see here, it's the first video is mine, this one. So you can always go and open, and I'll put this video as well in the link, how to set up the Microsoft Intune tenant in the details, so that you'll know what are the things you have to set up. But at the high level, you being as a fresher, you should know the difference between Intune MDM and Intune MAM, and when can be used, what are the steps, what are the points you should consider before configuring for any other company or in your UAT instance. I hope you learn something new, being as a Intune admin, or if you are new or try to learn something new. So don't forget and like and subscribe the channel. Till then, thank you. Have a good day.